Hello friends, Roy Haynes here with Lifetime. On this channel I share my take on life and on the times that we're in. The title of today's thought is, You Want It? You Got It. Did you know that God will give you whatever you really, truly insist on? Now, for real. Remember King Solomon? Solomon, King David's son. When Solomon became king after David, God asked Solomon what he wanted. Kind of like the genie in the bottle granting wishes to Aladdin. Solomon wanted the wisdom to rule over the people he was king over. He wanted that more than wealth or power. God granted him all three because that he had chosen wisdom over the others. God has also promised to give us whatever we desire if we are centered in His will. God has much good that He wants to give us. Jeremiah 29:11 says, For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Romans 8:28 says, And we know that in all things God works for good for those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. God wants to give us so much good. On the other hand, if we push hard enough, insisting on our way over His, He will even give us that. God gave the Israelites manna, angel food, to eat. After a while, they decided manna was not enough. They just had to have meat. At their continued insistence, God sent them quail. So much quail that it made them sick. Later, during the time of Samuel the prophet, the people of Israel decided they must have a king like the other nations who were around them. At their insistence, God gave them a king. The king turned out to be a dud. He was more interested in himself than in his people. Basically, with Israel, as the king went, so went the people. Good king, the people did okay. Bad king, the people joined him. So the basic principle is that God will give people what they really want, even if it's not good for them. There's a problem that is sort of unseen in all of this. If we insist on our way enough, God will send some other along with what we think we have to have. He will give us a leanness of spirit. Now, a leanness of spirit is not like a lean body in great shape. A leanness of spirit means that our spirit is kind of weak. And He will give us an ability to be truly deceived. We will believe Satan's lies. Satan is the one behind the serpent in the Garden of Eden who deceived Eve. The Bible refers to Satan as the deceiver. He constantly attempts to turn people's focus from God to themselves. To Eve, Satan successfully made God appear selfish and untrustworthy. When Jesus was tempted by Satan in the wilderness, Satan used the same tactics. He said, If you are the Son of God, turn this stone to bread. This was a direct attack on what God had said when Jesus was baptized. God said, You are my Son, whom I love. With you I am well pleased. That's Mark 1:11. Same tactics as with Eve. Also, Jesus was at the end of his 40-day fast and would have been very hungry. Basically, he was saying, "You're hungry, Jesus. Why not use this power on yourself?" In the book of Romans, chapter 1, we read, "For although they knew God, they neither glorified him as God nor gave thanks to him. But their thinking became futile, and their foolish hearts were darkened. They exchanged the truth of God for a lie. Furthermore, since they did not think it worthwhile to retain the knowledge of God, he gave them over to a depraved mind, to do what ought not be done." That's Romans 1, verse 21, part of 25, and verse 28. You know, I guess it might not be so good to push my own will against God's desires for me. Maybe I better stick with what God, in his good wisdom, plans for me. How about you?